Welcome to the energy of the Emperor. This is the 7th video in the Discover Your Elemental Blueprint series, and I'm Jack Maloney, the Energy Alchemist, and today we're talking about Yang metal. So Yang metal is the divine masculine. This is the father energy in the 9-star key, and it is authoritative, and it's a bit rigid. And there's a leadership quality that comes along with the Emperor. They also have a tendency to be perfectionistic. And one of the qualities that they exemplify really well is they know who they are. Unapologetically, they know who they are. They have an innate confidence that a lot of the other elements don't have. There's an underlying knowing with the Emperor energy. And because it's divine masculine, this is the hardest energy for women to embody. As with the men being in divine feminine or the yin earth energy, it's very similar but for very different reasons. You know, women who have very strong opinions and who are a bit judgmental or critical and stand firm in their power can be looked upon as difficult or even a bit bitchy. And metal in general is kind of a cold energy. So a woman with those qualities in our society is kind of shunned and judged pretty harshly. So if you're a woman experiencing some of that, hopefully this will give some insight and help you to really dial in on the positive qualities of the Emperor and see why this is so important to us on this planet. So the Emperor energy, in addition to having that rigid authoritative leadership thing, emperors, everything with an emperor is right or wrong, black or white. There is no gray area for anything. There's not a lot of discussion about things. The emperor, innately, there's the right way to do things. And generally, the way that the emperor wants to do it is the right way. They're normally right about situations. So they know this and they have this inner confidence that no matter what they do, they're usually right. So they really don't worry about hurting other people's feelings and can often come across as judgmental or critical. And a great example of this, my brother is a union carpenter and he came home from work a few weeks ago and he was telling me about how the foreman assigned a particular job to him and told him how it was best to accomplish this task. And my brother, being a young metal, he didn't like what the foreman planned. He didn't think it was the right way to do it. He went ahead and completed the task in a completely different way because he was so confident that what he did was the right decision that he didn't even worry about it. And my brother was thrilled because the foreman was very happy with the outcome because it actually was a better way to do it. So the Emperor energy will go out of their way to do something the right way, even if that means potentially getting in trouble with a boss or a spouse or anyone. You know, there's that confidence that they can't be wrong because they're usually not that goes on there. So Yang metal, they're the ultimate drama diffusers. So, I tend to have a lot of Yang metal people in my life, and they're fantastic if you need like direct advice to go to. A Yang metal person, they're not going to get involved in drama. Everything is black and white. It is what it is. They're fantastic people to have in the case of an emergency. They can really keep their cool and just do what needs to be done. And, you know, it just comes second nature to them. That's really one of their strong suits, is when there's an emergency situation. They're also excellent communicators. So the energy of Yang metal is likened to a sword, like a Chinese broadsword. It's immovable, really doesn't bend, it's pretty direct, and it's very cutting. And it's almost like the sword of truth, if you study Kabbalah at all. It's very Gebra in that way. So they're to the point, they're super direct, and their communication is fantastic because of that. There's not they don't worry about hurting people's feelings. They just kind of get to the point, and it is what it is. And of course, that can come across as a bit arrogant or critical or cold. Metal can be perceived as cold quite a bit because it's metal, and metal is kind of cold by design, but it's just who they are. So in addition to appearing cold and kind of aloof, metal people, they're super logical. They're like the Spock of the Nine-Star Key. Everything is the mind and it's logic. It's very Hodian in that way. But they feel everything kinesthetically. So as much as they might seem completely out of touch with energy, everything that they do is about managing the energy of a space. And the reason that they're so judgmental and critical and know the right thing to do is because they're constantly trying to control the outcome of the situation around them. The energy of everything, their five senses are heightened, all of their intuitive senses are heightened. They feel everything, even if they don't think they do. And control is a huge theme because they inherently don't feel safe in their bodies. Metal people, because they feel everything and they've got so much going on in their body, they have this tendency to want to pop out. They're super ungrounded as a rule. And it's that energy of Father Sky. So it is a really ungrounded energy. And they do that because it doesn't feel safe in their physical body. So they will try to learn things like astral travel and lucid dreaming and have out-of-body experiences because the physical is so uncomfortable for them. They're constantly trying to escape. But the key for a metal person is to stay in their bodies. When a metal person is able to completely embody the physical and understand all of the cues that are coming in all of the time, that's where their power comes from. That's where their superpower comes from. I have a very metal experience of sensing energy. So metal shows up as a prominent nose and also prominent cheekbones. And I have a very metal way of perceiving energy. So when I'm working with someone, I have all of these like categorized reactions in my body that I know exactly what they mean. I have 4 different types of headaches and they all mean the same exact thing all the time. And if my eyes hurt, that means someone's dehydrated. That I just have this strange little category of all of these energies and how they affect me and how I can apply them to a person and help them to fix the problem. That is a metal superpower, to be able to go in and really be a diagnostic machine when it comes to energy because they're so good at feeling everything. I mean, that's what they do. They feel everything. So in addition to all of those things, there is an emphasis on image with the Emperor. So the Emperor they're super confident, they have a thing about image, and they're very anti-weakness. When an Emperor will go out of their way to, I have something in my eye, for anything that damages their reputation or makes them look weak, it's a thing with them. Very similarly, they have a thing about respect. So the Emperor, if they don't respect someone, whether it's family, friend, coworker, significant other, as soon as they lose respect for someone, they will end relationship with that person. They cannot stay friends or anything with someone that they don't respect. It's just part of who they are. It's the image, it's the Emperor energy. They need to respect the people that they have around them. And in addition, they tend to love martial arts. They can love ballroom dancing, although the yin metal people tend to be a bit more gracious and better at that. And the New Age movement is very much a metal thing. It's the whole out-of-body thing, whereas water is shamanism and more the hippie movement. Metal is New Age and trying to connect with the outer worldly stuff. So because metal is so, it's got that Emperor energy and they're fantastic communicators, they can be in politics, they can be great business people, communications. Nikki Elledge Brown is a yang metal. She's fantastic. That's her whole business is on communications. They can be great speakers, and also they can get into real estate and interior design. They have an eye for things that look nice. Metal has a thing with image. So they just kind of gravitate towards that. And an interesting thing about metal is because they're always right, and when they're in an argument or having a discussion with someone, they have a hard time seeing things from the other person's point of view. And like, they can empathize a bit and they can be compassionate, but they literally cannot see the other person's point of view. They are hardwired to have their own experience, and having the perspective of another person is somewhat impossible for them. So a trick to be in better relationship with people as a young metal person is to just imagine that there are other possibilities that you may not have thought of, or that there's another way around it, that your perception isn't the only one. Granted, the young metal is usually right, so that might be a fruitless thing, but at least to the other person, they can feel the energy of that, and it won't be as a direct, aggressive, you're not listening to me, you don't understand me type of thing. So I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, metal in general. Because they're so sensitive, they are most likely to have food intolerances, or be gluten-free on purpose, or be vegan or vegetarian. There is a deprivation that comes into the metal energy, and they're the most likely to have an eating disorder or any type of restrictive diet. An extreme example would be, the breatharians or the ascetic monks. There's a focus on that. The minimalist movement is very, very metal. A typical metal house is like super streamlined and, no knickknacks. Everything is clean, and it's not efficient. It just looks really nice. And there's not a whole lot of stuff. Metal people don't really like stuff unless they've got earth going on in their 9-star key otherwise. And I think that's it. Oh, and one more interesting thing. So metal is, they really like structure and order and organization. And one of the things that metal corresponds to in the body is the fascia. So the fascia, it wraps all the muscles, it kind of compartmentalizes all of the muscles. So it's just interesting that metal, with its fixation on structure and order, is literally creating compartments within the body as well, which is really cool. And metal people, remember to breathe. Metal people, it's the lungs and the large intestine. So there's a lot of emphasis on letting go of that controlling tendency. But metal people literally forget to breathe, which is just a really interesting tidbit. So my young metal people, you are transitioning out of the fiery ending of the 9-year cycle. So last year was all super social and fireworks and potentially travel and play and just very busy, busy, busy. Fire is a busy year for many people. And the most jarring yearly transition is from fire to water, because you come out of the fire into the depths of the ocean. So this year you're in a water year, and the emphasis is on doing nothing. This is the beginning of the next 9-year cycle, and it's about the dream. What is the big dream? What do you want to accomplish over the next 9 years? And this isn't about being reasonable or logical. It's like, dream big. Think of everything you could possibly want, because over the course of 9 years, we'll pare it down and figure out exactly what that looks like. So spending a lot of time in just like daydreaming, sleeping in a little bit later. Meditation will be really helpful for you this year. Harness the art of doing nothing. Learn to go with the flow. Water goes where it wants to go. It doesn't really like to be contained. So there's going to be a dance between the metal tendency to control and the watery's influence that just wants to go where it needs to go at the time. So in addition to all of the dreamy downtime, I guess, There's an emphasis on healing as well. So healing the physical body, healing deep emotional trauma. You know, anything that we've been working on our entire lives can be healed really well in a water year. There's a lot of opportunity for it. So taking the time to get massages and get any type of therapy work, energy work, things that overall nurture the body and promote a healing environment is going to be really helpful for you this year. And also taking a look at your finances. Water rules money, and metal has an interesting relationship with money. So the combination combined is a really good time to either budget or start plan out what your money situation looks like. It's a great time to work on your money stuff. So things to be mindful of during this year is to not push or force anything. It's literally pushing against the tide in a water year when we try to push and force. And starting a new business is not advised in a water year. The energy is so slow and more for dreaming that it won't be conducive to a new business. And don't ignore your body's need for downtime. If we're in a water year and we push too much and don't take the time to just kind of nap and take baths and do all these wonderful healing things for ourselves, we'll get opportunities in the way of illness that make us rest. So try not to ignore those little nudges from your body. And don't make any fear-based decisions. Water has the emotion behind water is fear. So making any fear-based decisions is just it's that getting caught up in the emotion type of thing. Luckily, metal doesn't usually have an issue with that, but just be mindful of any potential fear-based decisions that you might make. And again, don't push to keep that social fiery energy of last year, because you will so quickly burn yourself out. And water naturally depletes the resources of metal just because of where it is in the cycle. Metal goes into the water, so it will kind of eat at your energy. So you're probably going to feel more tired and really need to dial up the self-care so that you can get done what you need to get done without feeling like you're accomplishing nothing. So my emperors, I hope that was some helpful insight into your personality and how your motivations are in the world. And good luck with your water year. It can be really fun, especially for a metal person. Lucid dreaming will be dreaming and water go hand in hand. So there's probably going to be a lot of that in this. And having that access to the deep ancestral wisdom will be really cool as a metal person too. It really opens up your intuition. So let me know what you think, or if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. And subscribe to my YouTube channel so you get real-time updates when the new videos are published. And tomorrow is Young Earth in a Young Wood year. So thanks for watching, my friends. We'll see you soon.